Hey, in our last video, we explored the importance of opening lines and the techniques that make them powerful. Today, we're taking it a step further by looking at some of my all-time favorite opening lines from speculative fiction. You'll see the books here on the shelf behind me. We're going to look not only at the lines themselves, but also why they resonate with me and why they're examples of exceptional storytelling. By the end of this video, you'll see how a great opening line can shape the entire reading experience. And remember, I'd like to see your opening lines, either your favorite opening lines from fiction that you love in the comments below, or works that you're working on and what your opening lines might be. Or just make up an opening line, see how well you can do. A great opening line is your promise to the reader, a promise that says, this story will be worth your time. It sets the tone, introduces the world, and teases just enough to make the reader want more. For speculative fiction, an opening line often has the added challenge of inviting readers into a world that's unfamiliar, strange, or downright otherworldly. That's what makes them so exciting and so important. Now, here are 5 basic characteristics of good opening lines. An intriguing hook. A good opening line grabs the reader's attention immediately, sparking curiosity about the story or characters. It sets the tone. It establishes the mood, style, or atmosphere of the story, giving readers a sense of what to expect. 3, it introduces a key element. Whether it's the setting, character, or conflict, a great opening line introduces something essential to the narrative. 4, it's memorable and unique. It stands out due to its originality, vivid imagery, or striking word choice, leaving a lasting impression on the reader. And 5, lastly, it encourages further reading. A compelling opening line makes readers want to turn the page and discover more about the world or story it promises. Now, let's jump into some of my favorites and break down why they work. Like a glowing jewel, the city lay upon the breast of the desert. That's from The City and the Stars by Arthur C. Clarke, which is one of my favorites from childhood on. Clarke's use of vivid imagery pulls us right into the scene. The comparison of the city to a glowing jewel gives it an almost mythical quality, while the stark contrast of the desert adds a sense of isolation and wonder. It immediately establishes the city with a capital C as something precious and perhaps unnatural, setting the stage for the profound questions Clarke's stories often explore. Here begins A Happy Day in 2381. That's from The World Inside by Robert Silverberg, another one of my favorites that I reread every couple of years. So, this line might seem simple, but its brilliance lies in its contrast. The year 2381 evokes futuristic possibilities, and yet the statement, a happy day, feels kind of mundane. It makes me wonder, what does happiness look like in this world? Is it sincere or ironic? It really feels ironic in that first opening line to me. It's a masterful setup for a story that will likely explore the nuances of utopia and dystopia, as it actually does. Okay. Once upon a time, when the world was young, there was a Martian named Smith. That's Stranger in a Strange Land by Robert A. Heinlein. Heinlein blends the familiar with the strange here. The phrase, once upon a time, taps into our collective memory of fairy tales and legends, while a Martian named Smith introduces the alien and the absurd. It's playful, intriguing, and immediately sets the tone for a story about bridging the gap between the familiar and the unknown. Hey, and if you remember from part 1, we talked about the often made fun of line, it's a dark and stormy night. One of the issues with that is it was so widely used as became a cliche before it started to be made fun of. And Once Upon a Time is something that's been used forever. And here, Robert Heinlein is actually using that mythical, oft-used cliche phrase to set up the strangeness of his Martian world. A beginning is the time for taking the most delicate care that the balances are correct. That's Dune by Frank Herbert. This line is almost philosophical in its approach. It doesn't just open the story, it sets the stage for the epic tone of the novel. The careful wording hints at the intricate political and ecological balances that define Herbert's entire universe. It invites readers to consider the gravity of beginnings, not just in the story, but in life itself. Here's another one of my favorites. I am a very old man. How old, I do not know. That's A Princess of Mars by Edgar Rice Burroughs. And believe it or not, I'm rereading that right now. With this line, Burroughs immediately creates a sense of mystery. Who is this man? Why doesn't he know his age? It's such a simple statement, yet it holds the weight of a lifetime filled with adventure and intrigue. This line promises a story worth hearing, and it certainly delivers. Call Me Ishmael. That's Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Yeah, it's not strictly speculative fiction, but this line transcends genre. Its brevity and directness establish an immediate connection with the reader. The conversational tone invites us into the narrator's world while leaving so much unsaid. Who is Ishmael? Why should we care? It's the kind of line that sticks with you. And yes, I love Moby Dick, and it's another book that I'm actually reading over again as I'm working on things. So, okay, here's one. The sky is a dappled gray of swiftly moving clouds. The scent of snow is heavy on the air, and the wind, though it moans like a ravaged woman as it blows across the flat open plain, rips at my face and hands like the teeth of a wolf. That's from The Ancient of Days by Irving A. Greenfield, and that's all one sentence. This is one of the most evocative opening lines I've ever read. The imagery is so vivid you can almost feel the cold and hear the wind. It creates a mood of desolation and struggle, immediately taking the reader into a harsh world that the story unfolds for us. It's the kind of opening line that grabs hold and doesn't let go. Last one. In a cell so small he could not stand, so tight he could not stretch across its length, Christopher paid the price for a captain's pride. Now, that's from my own novel, The Stellar Glory. And I admit I'm biased about this one, but what I love about this line is how it sets the stakes immediately. It introduces a character, a setting, and a theme, pride and its consequences, all in one sentence. It's personal, poignant, and it leaves the reader asking, what happened to Christopher, and where will his story go? And I think I wrote that line maybe before I was 20, so long time ago. Closing thoughts. Opening lines are so much more than words on a page. They're an invitation, a promise, and sometimes even a challenge. The best ones stay with us long after we finish the story, reminding us of the worlds we've visited and the characters we've met. Whether you're a writer looking to craft your own masterpiece or a reader, savoring the magic of a great story, I hope these examples inspire you as much as they've inspired me. Now, going all the way back to the beginning in part 1, the previous video, let's take a look again at that opening line I wrote for my new novel. Dom always said the moon was like a mirror, showing us what Earth used to be and what it might never be again. After all we've learned, I think it will do for a start. What do you say? Let me know in the comments. Hey, thank you for joining me here on the Dreamforge channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share your own favorite openings in the comments. I can't wait to hear them. Until next time, keep dreaming and keep writing.